times and in different states, but I've never been here. It's a beautiful place, very nicely warm, with beautiful people, beautiful hotels and homes. Yesterday I had the honor to one of the most prestigious estates in the world, the Paradise Valley, and I loved it. It's gonna be my retirement place when I retire. You'll be my neighbor. Awesome, awesome. So, for elections, I served in the radio broadcasts live. I'm sure you followed me, for those who are older than I am. And we did this thing, we did that thing for 24 years. And I'm very, very proud to be associated with the progress we've made in Kenya, from where we were back in the days of Moi era to where we are with a new constitution that was promulgated in the year 2010. Before I continue, I would want to introduce my team who are with me and those that have hosted me here. I am with me Elder J.K. John Kamau, who is my host. And I'm glad that I have been able to arrive here and meet a few wonderful people, and I'm looking forward to meeting even more in another few days that I'm going to be here. So John, please kindly introduce the rest of the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Wamuchomba. Let's give her a mighty clap for that introduction. Before I can say one or two words about there with the black suit, that gentleman his name is Kevin. Kevin, if you don't mind, I'll invite you here to come and say hello to Kenyans and tell them who you are. I'll sit down so that you can introduce yourself.
Kevin Gilligan with Arsenal. We're a consulting firm. We're more than honored to have Madam Gathoni here. I'm not going to occupy a lot of time because I know we're in a time crunch here, but it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I look forward to shaking everybody's hand at the end. And I'd like to introduce the CEO of Arsenal, Chris Mywayne. And Chris.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. I work in Washington, D.C., and I spend a lot of time at the White House with the Trump administration. We're very excited to learn more about what the future of Kenya holds. There's a lot of concerns about some of the leadership there. There's concerns about the future, and we're in a very dynamic time when it comes to changing governments, changing the face of the future, and I think we have a leader sitting behind us, sitting behind me, that can make some of those changes. So we're looking forward to moving some conversations forward in the short term and the near term as well. And thanks for having us here. We're really looking forward to continuing those discussions. John, thank you for the introduction. I will hand the microphone back to you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Let's give them a mighty clap. I know that we would have liked to give you people enough time to organize a huge meeting for Honorable Wamuchomba, but we are happy that you're here, because at the end of the day, in our language we say that the tree falls on those who are available. The reason why we are here is to pass a small but very clear message that we are Kenyans, we are Diaspora, but Kenya is home, and home is best. So wherever we are, we do not only think and care about our country, we are concerned and we are willing to put our money where our mouth is. We are willing to work with those people in Kenya that are willing to make that country a better place. And as we are looking around, we know there are very many people who have said they would like to do something about what is happening. And it is for that reason that we reached out to Honorable Wamuchomba, and she said she has always wanted to work with people who want to make Kenya a better place. And it's for that reason that she's here. We have put a formidable team behind our country of Kenya. We have a strong team here in the United States. And as you see, when those gentlemen were introducing themselves, they said they come from a team called Arsenal. Very soon, you'll hear a little bit more about Arsenal. It's a huge organization that works with international interested parties who wants to work with the United States as consultants, as lobbyists, and many other small things here and there. So what I would say is I would pray that you watch this space, watch Honorable Wamuchomba. She has kept the microphone down, rather she kept it down a long time ago when she was working in the TV arena or the media arena. She joined the public service as a member of parliament, and she still believes she can do a little bit better. And I think with those few remarks, I'll pass the microphone back to Honorable Wamuchomba.
I'm very pleased to have my sister with me here, Madam Washeke, who is one of the strong women leader and has been coordinating a movement of women here in the US. I'm very proud to be associated with you, Washeke. I believe in women leadership. I believe in women empowerment. I am a product of women empowerment, and that is why I'm here. I know you Kenyans in US are very comfortable here. You look beautiful. You look well fed. You look healthy. But I don't know whether you have had a moment to think about your brothers and sisters who are in Kenya. I don't know whether you've taken a moment to think about the future of Kenya. I don't know whether you have had a moment to think about the education system in Kenya. Some of you are here because you got an opportunity to go to school. Some of you are here because you leveraged on your platform for education achievement back home. Some of you are here because you had economic power to even afford a flight to come to America. Some of you are here because you had the freedom of speech. Your emails were not hacked when you're looking for visa. Some of you are here because you are not profiled in Kenya. That is why you acquired a visa to come here. I don't know whether you have had an opportunity to think about your brothers and sisters who can no longer access their emails, even for an invite by American Embassy. I don't know whether you thought or you have imagined how it could have worked for you. That very day you were invited at the embassy to go and do interview and you could not access your email. That's what's happening back home. Some of you came here when you were young. You looked for greener pastures. You hoped to change your aspirations and achieve your long-time dream when you were young. You got that opportunity, that's why you're here. I don't know whether you have thought about your brothers and sisters, the young people of Kenya, who have to drop out of university education because of mismanagement of the Kenya Kwanza regime. Thousands of your brothers and sisters have dropped out of universities because the new education funding model is discriminating learners. lumping them into categories of achievements and failures. Some of you are here because you went through HELB, Higher Education Loans Board. Your education was funded, and that is why you achieved to be here. There are children in Kenya who dropped out at 5th year as they pursued their law degrees. They've dropped out at their 6th year as they pursue their medical degrees. And you know what? You Americans are very safe here. This is heaven for you. But whatever happens down in Kenya, it ultimately affects you. Those brilliant minds that are out of school would definitely look for a living, whichever way. And it's very easy for them to join criminal gangs. You know very well, Al-Shabaab recruiters are everywhere in Nairobi, looking for brilliant minds, idle minds. And if those kids do not get assimilated back in the university system, they will definitely be absorbed, assimilated in the criminal gang system. And if Nairobi is hit, America is hit. Our problems down there will affect you up here. I don't know whether you know that most of you work so hard, and I know you know. You are the people who are keeping Kenya afloat right now. The people working in foreign countries, remitting a lot of money back home. You are our revenue income #1 in Kenya. The former regimes and the current regime collapsed the income that we used to depend on. Tea exports, coffee exports, macadamia exports, minerals export. All those industries are collapsed. The only vibrant income revenue generation for a country called Kenya is foreign remittances. Your money is supposed to help us get health services in our hospitals. The taxes and the money you send us is supposed to make sure that our university students are well funded. But that is not what is happening. You've seen me in the media complaining. You've seen me on TikTok. You've seen me on X. You've seen me on Facebook. You have had people composing songs about me. It's not because I'm beautiful. Of course I am, but that's not the reason why they are composing songs about me. They are composing songs that are communicating their pain. I know, and I imagine that most of you are mothers and fathers, your parents. And that wonderful joy of going into labor ward and getting your baby and coming out with that baby bundle of joy is the fulfillment and satisfaction of every parent. But I don't know whether you're aware, because of the regime's mess, inefficiencies and gaps, the new medical provision called SHA is not functional. And so mothers are getting into the labor ward, deliver their babies, and they're locked, detained in hospitals for months and for years. Why should a mother be locked up in a hospital, detained with her baby, just because she has not paid $30, $100, $20? The other day I was rescuing a mother who wanted only $10. $10 is about 1,000 shillings, Kenyan shillings. And she's detained in hospital for 2 weeks because of $10. You guys, you're having fun here. But remember, your sisters and brothers are struggling. Our elderly parents, who obviously at the age of 65, according to the Kenyan Constitution, deserve to be given their cash protection program, the Social Security program, assistance program. But currently, 85-year-old parents cannot access to their mega little package of 2,500 shillings per month. How many dollars are those? How many dollars are those? Enough to dignify their lives because they can at least eat and access basics. But the government of Kenya cannot afford to pay them on time. I do not think that we struggled and fought for Kenya's second revelation, which I played a very big role in the year 2005 all the way to 2010. Then I was a very active student at the University of Nairobi pursuing my master's degree. And we fought to have the new constitution that dignified the lives of the elderly people of Kenya. And we actually acknowledged the age of dignity. But we have failed the elderly population of Kenya for years, even with a constitution in place. It's a shame. Presidents come, they imagine they'll never grow old. And they misbehave by not honoring and governing Kenya by the rule of law. As we speak right now, we don't honor court orders. I'm sure you follow the stories. Inspector General is summoned by the court. He does not honor the court summons. Arrests, orders are released, and they don't honor them. We have put aside the rule of law in Kenya, and we are governing Kenya as a private business entity. That must stop. For us to have a progressive economy, we must abide by the rule of law. I am a believer of the Kenyan Constitution. I am an advocate of the Kenyan Constitution in terms of advocacy for what is supposed to be done, and I believe that Kenya is a democracy. A democracy does not abduct and kill its own young people. A democracy does not maim and torture its own mothers and women when they protest around issues of excessive femicide cases. A democracy does not punish university lecturers by denying them their rights. A democracy does not forcibly evict people from their traditional inherited pieces of land. All we see on Christmas Eve is demolitions executed by an existing elected government. What a shame! These are not stories I'm giving you. These are realities and happenings that are happening every day. Women of age of 85 are sleeping outside to date. The Mau Mau veteran women who are allocated land by the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta in Nairobi's Mathare and Pipeline areas were evicted by the regime led by President William Samoei Ruto, who stood on his car during campaign rooftop of his car, and he proclaimed that he will no longer allow demolitions, illegal demolitions, but he supervised them in the name of climate change, in the name of cleaning Nairobi River. Nairobi River is more important than the lives of the elderly parents, the Nyakenyua women who with their families had occupied the riparian land in Nairobi. And they did not do that free. They worked for that land. It's historical. So when we have a government that operates outside the law, outside the constitution, that government should be called out. Do you believe me? Do you believe me? Yes. It should be called out for the evils, for the violation of human rights, for the extremes of suppression of voices of dissent, because that's what's happening in Nairobi. So I know I am here to talk to people who may not be on the forefront to experience what I'm talking about. But I want you to emotionally imagine if that, what I'm speaking to, is what your mother is going through down there, your brothers going through the same, your sons and daughters going through the same, and we are the people of this season. We must rescue our country. So when I speak, people ask me, so why are you complaining? And you're one of those that are elected and at the same ticket, the United Democratic ticket. Why are you complaining? I am complaining because I'm a true mother of Kenya. I am complaining because I'm the true daughter of the mountain. I am complaining because I'm a true Democrat and I believe in the rule of law. I joined United Democratic Party on the basis of the belief that that's a democratic party. And it will give me the room to voice my concerns whenever there is some irregularities. And that is what I've done consistently since I was elected. Give me a clap if you give me. At some point, I was a lone ranger. I spoke alone. I was condemned alone. I was isolated, completely politically isolated, until the other people realized that whatever I was saying, whatever I was condemning, was right to be condemned at that moment of the day. I'm a victim of extreme voice suppression by the regime. President Ruto has attacked me politically not once, not twice, not thrice, to the extent of even coming personally to my constituency to bully me. But hey, do I look like the one who should be bullied? Do I look like that one who is intimidated? No, I told him on the face, no. I am duly elected by over 80,000 Kenyans in my constituency who believe in the power of Gathoni's term. And I'm not going to shut up because the president is uncomfortable with me. My security was withdrawn. My office has been invaded by auditors every single month of the year. Last year alone, I received auditors 4 times in the year. Every 3 months, I have auditors. 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 So literally, for 12 months, I've had auditors in my offices throughout. And whenever they come, you can't work. But unfortunately, I'm sure you saw last week, before I came here, the Auditor General pronounced herself and said, Gathoni has done all right according to the rules and the regulations, and she can account for every coin that has passed through her hands and her office. So I am clean slate. Even with those many intimidations, the politics of tokenism in Kenya has taken the center stage. You only get a tarmac allocation in your constituency if you clap for Mr. President, the lying president who lies every day, every moment. You will not get a project approved in your constituency if you're a critic of the government. But I've decided to turn the coin. I've decided I'm going to shout loud, I'm going to speak and speak and speak, and even remind them that it's our constitutional right for us to get an allocation of tarmac whether we are friends of the government or critics of the government. And hey, that's what has happened in Githunguri. They have brought development, even when I'm criticizing them, because I have reminded them that I'm one of those that made the Constitution of Kenya, and politics of tokenism died with the former dictators. Unfortunately, President Ruto is bringing back the same tokenism. Look at him when he goes to Mandera. Do you want to tell me that the budget to do those roads in Mandera was passed yesterday when he went to Mandera? Do you want to tell me that the budget was passed and everything was hidden, waiting for him to appear in Mandera so that he can announce that this road is going to be made? He's a liar. He's been lying everywhere. He goes to Western Kenya and lies. Oh, I'm going to do for you this road, I'm going to do for you this time. And the budget is done once between April and May. If that road has no money, it has no money. But let me tell you guys, why do you think he shouts about money to surprise people even when budgets are done only in April? Now we are in January, February. We did the budget last year in April. Where did he get the money to go and announce in Western? It's because he's a thief. He has used the budget of Kenya to budget for corruption. So there is some money he hides within the budget, and only him who knows that there is some money there in that budget. So he allocates money for the Ministry of Agriculture, but that money is finally not going to be spent by the Ministry of Agriculture. He is going to take the money and go and give tokens for political gains. I should be hearing you say, shame. I'm sure you do your kitchen budgets. You sit down with your families and decide you're going to buy this. If you say you're going to buy this in your kitchen, you obviously have to buy. Otherwise, if you don't buy and keep quiet about the buying, you can easily take that budget from the kitchen allocation and divert it to somewhere else. So what President Ruto has been doing is that once you finalize on the budgeting, he will call his friends in Parliament and he will ask them not to implement the budget so that he can use that delay to divert, reallocate money from this project to this project. That is why you've seen Akina Morara going all around and saying this road was allocated 2 billion shillings, but it only went for 1 kilometer and stalled because the money that was allocated for that road was finally diverted. My fight with the President Ruto is when he reallocated money that was meant to develop a water project in my constituency, 475 million. I followed that money from the day we allocated it in Parliament, and the day he called the permanent secretary and diverted the money, I confronted him. And I told him, Mr. President, you must stop. Because Parliament is an independent institution. So the President of Kenya has captured Parliament. He has bought off opposition. There is no opposition. The only opposition voice left is that of Gathoni Wamuchomba. He has captured executive. The ministers are toothless, voiceless. They're just zoobies who just follows him. They have no voice. Have you ever seen any cabinet minister take a microphone in an entourage where the president is? No, they don't speak. The president is the speaker, the president is the clerk, the president is the PS, the president is auditor general. He is everything. He has captured the executive, he has captured Parliament, and he has captured the Kenyan media. The only area he has not been able to capture is social media. And that is why he has resorted to abducting every other active social media lobbyist. Every social media active young people, they are being abducted, killed, and maimed because you want to silence everybody. Kenyans in America, this is not the time to slumber. This is not the time to sit back and watch a television and say, may God help us. It's time for action. It's time to weed out corrupt leaders. It's time to elect sober women and men of service. It's time to identify leaders who can stand for the truth, who can advocate for what is right, and who can speak out against extreme suppression like what's happening in Nairobi. Will you support us? Do we have your back? Ladies and gentlemen, gone are the days when the DCI, the Director of Criminal Investigation, would knock on your door at 2 a.m. Gone were the days when Land Rovers, police Land Rovers, would park at your gate waiting for you. Gone were the days when I could not speak on radio about the government of Kenya. Gone were the days when you used to get summoned in State House by the former dictator for speaking about land grabbing by the government. Gone were the days when you could not speak in a matatu, in a public service vehicle, when you could not speak in a bus station. Gone were the days. But unfortunately, those days are back. That's right. Women no longer sing their song in the market because the Director of Criminal Investigation is next door waiting for you. I have been trailed not once, not twice. I don't have government security, yet I'm qualified to have that privilege as an elected member of parliament, but I don't have security. My meetings have been attacked by the system. I'm sure you've seen me. They've thrown tear gas at my meetings. They've sent goons at my meeting to attack women and children. Those days you read in the Kenyan history, those bad days are back. Are you going to allow this to happen, Kenyans? I'm glad that there are Americans in the room who share the pain with us and want to assist us. Please don't sit pretty and watch. Do something. Help us voice out the EOs of Kenyan government. A few days ago, I'm sure you know, the president visited the northeastern part of Kenya, accompanied by his advisors and friends who come from the Somali community. I've got nothing bad against the Somali community, but let truth be said. The gains of having Somali community tamed from accessing the Kenyan soil from the rogue Somali Republic are all eroded. President Kenyatta struggled to build a solid wall at the border between Kenya and Somalia. Is that right? President Kibaki, the late President Kibaki, struggled to raise budgets to construct a wall at the Kenya-Somali border. Because there's something they knew. There's something they were aware. There is some information they had. What is this that President Ruto doesn't know, having served as a deputy president for 10 years, about the Somali community? And what is the motivation of allowing a free border flow? What is the motivation? Listen to me. President Ruto's campaign was supported by the same Somali terrorists. It's his time to pay them back. I'm not saying this as an allegation. I'm saying this as an echo to confirmation of what has been said by my colleague, a member of parliament from Somaliland, from Somali area, elected in the National Assembly of Kenya, who went public 2 days ago and said The presidential jet that President Ruto used to do his campaign, we bought for him. We funded him even to buy the t-shirts for campaign. He confessed. It's there in public arena. So President Ruto is paying back the Somalis. Unfortunately, and I'll say this without fear here, I know I'm in America, but allow me to say it. Can I say it with your permission? If the terrorist attacks Nairobi, they will also attack America. You know, historically we have suffered because of being allies, of being friends, being associates of the American government. You know how many people died when American embassy was hit in Nairobi in the 90s? Do you remember? What is going to happen when we open the borders? The terrorists, the guys who have been kidnapping ships, what are they called? The pirates are going to access Kenya, and they are going to be credited because they are going to have an ID, and you would now use the ID to apply for passport. Hear this. The president has not only opened the borders, he has also opened registrations of persons offices in Garissa. So when you're in that region, you don't have to come to Nairobi to get your ID and to apply for passport. In fact, applying for passport in Garissa is faster than applying for passport anywhere else in Kenya. I should be hearing you say shame. So what does that mean? It means any other terrorist from wherever can access Kenya through our border, apply for ID, apply for diplomatic passports, and get to America. That is a very big threat to the American government. You know, my friend Chris, and for those who don't know me very well, where I come from, we say, whatever a woman says is never credible when she says it the first time. But give it time, it will be the reality. Can I repeat it? That's what we say. Whatever a woman says in my culture is never believed once she says it, because we speak so many words, we say so many things, so we are never believed once we say it. But it's only credible when times goes by. Listen to me. What I'm saying here, you will all remember me one day. If nothing is done between now and end of this month, February, the amount of IDs that are being given to the Somali community will painfully cost you. Can I say it again? Will painfully cost you. I'm not selling fear. I'm only being factual. President Ruto played a very dangerous game, and he thinks we are foolish we don't know. Prior to his visit to northeastern part of Kenya, 5 chiefs were kidnapped, allegedly by terrorists, Al-Shabaab. And a whole head of state goes to the same area where his 5 main chiefs have been abducted, and continues with the schedule of the day, the program of the day, not worried that his 5 chiefs have been abducted or kidnapped, and finishes off and drives back to Nairobi and flies to DRC as the East African peacemaker. Shame! And he thinks we are stupid. He thinks we don't know that the kidnapping of the 5 chiefs was a game to send them to Somalia. and go and get the logistics properly of ferrying people from Somalia to Kenya to come and register for IDs. Because the only person who knows how to prepare somebody to qualify for an ID is the chief. So even as we speak, the chiefs are still in Somalia in the name of they are abducted. So that he can come to the world, he can come to America and lie to Americans. You know what? It's not only Kenyans boys who are being abducted. Even my chiefs were abducted. So he's actually trying to turn around the whole abduction issue as a Somalia Al-Shabaab issue, so that he can come back to America and beg to be supported to fight Al-Shabaab. He's actually trying to create this scenario that these whole abductions we've been talking about for the last 6 months are not just abductions, are Al-Shabaab issue. And because he knows American government will rush to support him, so he wants to come back to America and tell Americans, hey, you know those abductions? We've just realized in the Somali, Al-Shabaab doing it. Guys, I want to plead with you. I know I don't have much time left, and I would want to give this microphone to you people to ask me questions. But I want you to look at me in the eye. I want you to agree with me that Kenya is not safe. I want you to agree with me that our economy is on the retrogression, not progression. I want you to agree with me that the education system, all the way from elementary, the CBC, to the university, is totally messed up. I want you to agree with me that our health system is crumbled. I want you to agree with me that manufacturers are closing down, and you can go and Google the report from the Kenya Federation of Employees in Kenya. Over 5,500 employees have been fired because the companies they relied on shut down because of high taxation in this regime. I want you to look at me in the eye and agree with me that it is time to change the top leadership of the government of Kenya. I want you to agree with me because you know me and you have followed me. Even if I don't qualify 100%, I qualify at least 75% to provide alternative leadership in the Republic of Kenya. I want you to support me. I want you to pray for me. I request you to play an active role in changing the rotten regime of President William Samoei Ruto. We have called him Kasongo for the lying patterns in his governance. This year, we are calling him Kaongo, the true lying president, the liar. Next year, we are calling him Ongo, the true lie of Kenya. The man who presented himself as a true Christian and only turned out to be a conman. Next year but one, our elections year, 2027, we will be left with go. So Kasongo, Kaongo, Ongo, and go. And when he goes, yours truly, the mother of the country, the true woman for the job, Gathoni Wamuchomba, will take the helm. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless Kenya. God bless America. Thank you. I would want to open up for questions. If there's anybody who would want to ask me questions, I'll take questions. Maybe you want to ask me, when I become president, what am I going to do? Yep, especially on matters governance. Let's have the microphone flow, if we have extra microphone.
We have an extra. Yeah, we're bringing the mics to you.
Okay. So I'll take 3 questions and then I'll pause, answer 3, and then take another round. Please try and be brief and start with your name. Thank you.
My name is James Kimondo, and I am born again. I'm a Christian. I have stood here not because I have stood here kuweka stamp kwa vile Wamuchomba amesema about Somalia. Me, as you can see here, I have worked with them, with KDF. And if there are people who are dangerous in our defense box are Somalians. I am among the people who captured Kismayo from Al-Shabaab. So I know the whole of Somalia. I know the whole of Garissa Wajir. These people, whenever we went in a truck from Kahawa Garrison to Mandera, they removed their caps so that to be identified by their fellow Al-Shabaabs. The truck was ambushed and they were not injured or done anything because the sign is then they remove their hairs. So they are dangerous people. And I'm very sad for what our president is doing. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, after realizing the way they were doing, he said that no one should recruit them in the forces. Moi and Mohammed, they put them back to the forces. So, Wamuchomba, in fact, even my asylum, because me, I'm here as an asylum, I'm here because I was threatened to be murdered by Al-Shabaab after we worked with the American government, and they say that anybody who was in conjunction with America, they're gonna kill them.
Please ask the question.
Yeah, so
Please.
It's not a question I was asking. I just came to give a testimony. I mean, kuwekea mkazo vile Wamuchomba amesema, the Somalians are dangerous people.
Thank you.
And I am sad of what our president is doing.
Thank you.
very much.
Let's appreciate you. Thank you very much. Next, please, if you get a microphone, because I would want as much discussion as possible, please be very brief. Your name and a comment or a question. Thank you.
My name is Moses. Hello, my name is Moses. I'm here as a teacher, and I believe teachers have done a lot. And I'm here just to pose a question pertaining how you as a leader, you are making sure that you bring the young tax into what you have, so that at least they can get the IDs, they can register, rather than us registering the Al-Shabaab and other people, whereas we are leaving the youths and people who have the pain of their country. People who are even coming out of the country when they are supposed to be working for our own country. How are you trying to bring them on board?
Thank you, Moses. Thank you. That question? Here.
You have to raise your hand up.
Okay, thank you, Tim. My name is also Moses, but I normally go by Musa. And that is the name my mother has regularized. I would like to ask Madam Wamuchomba that we follow a lot. She has said that she's seeking more of endorsement for the presidency. However, you realize that we have so many other candidates, and as Kenya as it is, as much as we don't want to trivialize the matter of presidency, I feel personally that it's also a time to give other community a chance, so that the narrative of course we have a right as community to seek for presidency, but I feel it's a time to give another community, whoever we may deem, we support them, so that this narrative of, because it's what is being sold, that so and so from Mount Kenya, they only think they are the people who can lead. So I would think, yes, you are qualified, totally qualified. I follow you a lot. If you look at your ex, Musa Muhindi, I think maybe at the moment you could be in that government, play a very significant role. No, you know, I know your area is education or business or something. I know you're doing your PhD, so I know so much about you. But I feel maybe at the moment, we could give somebody, maybe another region, so that this narrative of saying that we love presidency, we need power, we agreed, and ABCD, so that we can tell them, no, the Mount Kenya region is not like that. We are people who love people who work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear you, Musa. Allow me to, first of all, answer the 3 questions. First of all, I want to congratulate the veteran ex-military guy. Let's appreciate him for fighting for the nation of Kenya. And I believe you have first-hand experience on who Al-Shabaab are. And giving them a window is obviously the wrong step. Moses, what is it I am doing as Honorable Gathoni to assist the young people to access IDs other than just screaming and complaining about other people getting the IDs? I want to be very honest with you, because most of you know me for speaking the truth. President Ruto's regime has just realized that the Gen Zs are hell-bent to remove him from the seat. And they attempted on the 25th of June, when they protested and accessed parliament and burnt it up. They accessed the Senate and damaged everything. They accessed state lodges, 3 of them. They were inside. And therefore, President Ruto has realized that the young people, the Gen Zs of Kenya and the millennials, are no-nonsense people. They will not buy his stories. They will not buy into his con game. They are not going to buy into his religious pretentiousness. And therefore, what he's doing now is to suppress them from even registering for IDs. So, voters from Nairobi, for example, voters from areas he perceived to be not his strongholds, have very serious delays and limitations so that they do not access IDs. I will tell you from Githunguri, where I ably represent. I had to intervene last year when my students needed IDs to register for university education. After Form 4, you know you have to get an ID so that you can be given a university admission number. And I realized time was up. Other students from other regions were registering in the university. My students were still struggling to access IDs. I had to call all the students in my office compound, called the DC, called the in charge of ID, and made sure I followed to the dot so that the kids can get ID. On top of that, President Ruto's regime has introduced a fee. For you to acquire an ID, you've got to pay 1,500 shillings. You know, when you were in Kenya, IDs were free. Unfortunately, these IDs that have to be paid for also have an expiry date. So we are actually Kenyans by expiry dates. That is completely unconstitutional, it is irregular, and it is scandalous. And therefore, as a member of parliament, I plan once I go back to parliament this session, I should be in parliament because we opened last week. One of my biggest activity is going to press the government against that, because we must resist being slaves in our country that we belong. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Last question from Musa. Musa is thinking like a Mount Kenya voter. I am not asking for votes because I come from Mount Kenya. I am asking for votes because I've been speaking for everybody in Kenya. I am a voice for Kenyan people. And having come from Mount Kenya doesn't disqualify me from vying for presidency. If I can amass as many votes, and why not? If somebody wants to come and partner with me from another community, why not? But I cannot sit back, watch my Nyakenya women sleep in the cold and not just throw myself into the ring just because I'm from Mount Kenya. I'm not going to sit back and see women being killed in Nairobi, and I do not offer myself for a presidential candidate to fight for them just because I'm from Mount Kenya. I'm gonna be in that ring, and whoever is willing to come and partner with me, you're welcome. And it's not by mistake that I am from Mount Kenya. It's God's design. Yep. And time is up for Gathoni to become president of Kenya. Oh yeah, time is up. Thank you. Next round, question.
Mine is not a question, it's just a comment. What I want to say is, please, as you go on, first of all, my name is Ruben.
Go ahead.
What I would say is what we need in our country so much than any other time is civic education. Because what we need most is mindset change. Let's have a very detailed civic education. Because our leaders, what I've seen with time, I've been in politics since 1997. I vied for an MP seat when I was 22 for MP Naivasha. And even in 2017, just before I came in, I was running for the Parkland MCAC. So, I understand how things go in Kenya. We are taken like, I will just give a very small example. We have tea leaves and we have salt. You know, you cannot make tea and call it tea if you don't have the tea leaves. But what do we do to it? You put your milk, you put your water, you put your majani chai, but unachukua the strainer, kichungi, unachuka, unaweka kwa dustbin, na inasahulika. That is exactly how our politicians in Kenya, I don't even see them as, I call them professional manipulators.
Thank you.
And I say, why can't we turn and let the people understand the power of the vote that they cast so that we can become like salt? Once added, you cannot remove it.
Thank you.
You will take it all the way.
Thank you, Mr. Duku. I wish you the best, the very best. Please come back to Kenya. I have some lady. Thank you. Come back to Kenya. Let's fight together.
Hello. My name is Adhiambo. I think I might be the only Adhiambo here. Yeah, I just got the information yesterday about this, so I know a lot of friends who didn't get the information. So yeah, but a friend told me she wasn't able to come. But Gathoni, oh sorry. Thank you. Mudoni Gathoni. Yeah, I love you very much. I follow you. I'm not on TikTok, but I follow you on your social media, YouTube, and you're doing a very good job. I'm a believer in women leading. My question which I was going to ask, actually he asked, was the civil education, because I think that is what is really lacking, especially our old people. And if they can be educated more, I'm glad the young ones are picking up and they are taking away the thing of tribalism or what. I think as a leader, what we should go for is somebody who can do the job. And if you're going for that, I'm fully behind you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. So we have Ruben, Athiombo, and one more.
Yes.
Is a lady there? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Anne-Marie Masheho. Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming to spend this time with us. We are honored. My concern was, just as you said, I was in Kenya in December and I was really, really concerned. I tried even to get an ID for my daughter. Even up to now, it didn't come out. And we had to pay 20,000 Kenya shillings for that. they said because she's an American, she has to pay 20,000. You know, it was a long trip, like 3 days, like going to their house. And there were so many Somalis, and everywhere I go, there were Somalis. And I told, and I've been talking this since I came back, we're gonna be squatters in our own country. Very, very soon, if we don't take care. So my question is, and I will really support you fully for president, for you have my vote. But I have two questions. What are you gonna do about land ownership by foreigners? Because that's something we need to really, really look into. Because very soon, sincerely speaking, my Kenyan people will be squatters in our own country. Question two, what are we gonna do as diaspora voters? How can we vote, yeah, when it comes time for election? What can we do to be voters of that country?
Wow. Thank you so much. Allow me first of all to answer the three. Sweetheart, we do three first so that I don't lose my mind in terms of, you know, the flow. I want to start off with Athiambo. Thank you so much for following me, and thank you for the support. We've never had a woman president in Kenya, and we have had serious, effective women governors. The fact that the 7 women governors are doing it well, not all of them, but a few are really doing well, and women MPs, parliamentarians are the best right now. I've carried the flag of the best parliamentarian for the last 3 years. Just before I came here, I was awarded the best MP nationally, the whole country, by Jamhuri Awards. Just before I came here, the Auditor General granted me the pass as the best accountable member of parliament on usage of CDF. And I believe women can do it. And they can do it even better because they are micromanagers. And some of these positions require you to have the aspect of micromanaging, and micromanaging quite much, handle much, and make sure that you achieve much. That does not mean that the men can do it, but I think the women should be given a chance in Kenya. They've never been given a chance. I mean, for heaven's sake, we have had many male presidents, so many, and some of them have been good. I mean, Kibaki did it and did it well. But remember, Kibaki's regime was pillared by a woman, the Honorable Mother Wangari Karua. She was the woman, Mrs. Fix-It, behind the scene. Yeah, so let's have this woman, you know, get it and see what happens. Now, I want to talk about civic education. Civic education in Kenya is never taken seriously because we have been brainwashed and conditioned into thinking tribal. So even when we come to this hall and put all of you here and tell you about land rights, people still think about those rights in the name of socialization. Where do we come from? Which community are we? How do we normally own land? So even when you come and tell them this is how the Constitution of Kenya wants you to own this, people still think in their socialized ethnic lines. And that's a very serious challenge. Can you imagine if you go to Narok today and tell the women of Narok, you know, I want to be president because I want to make sure every woman in Narok has a title deed? How many civic education sessions are you going to have to convince them? That's wasting your time, isn't it? That's our problem. Look at public participation. It's there theoretically, but practically, is it there? No. We pass finance bills against 99% of rejecting opinion, but we still pass it. So civic education, we pass public participation, which is part of civic education, to me, it's a waste of resources. And I think what works in Kenya is what I'm doing here. Personalized, influencing opinion. Not really packaged as civic education. So for me, if I want something done in my constituency, it's easier for me to just call my people and tell them, hey, how are you? Da, 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 da. Sing along, pray along, you know, By the end of the day, I have already passed the message to them. But if I do formal civic education, they'll just sign for their stipends, 200, 300 shillings, and they all go, but nothing happens. This is unfortunate. Number two, civic education in Kenya, it's so much NGO world activity. And the government doesn't align with it because they think it's a way of civil societies getting their donations and getting their money, and therefore it's never taken as a center stage activity within governments. That's a problem. But we try. But I'm liking it nowadays. Civic education is happening every now and then in social media. Follow me when I'm teaching you about, for example, finance bill. Do I do a good job? Yeah? Last year, I am humbled that I was named as the most influential politician in Kenya when it comes to issue of information dissemination. I disseminate a lot about agriculture, about health, about education, about, bills that are passing in Parliament, something that has never been done. In fact, when I go back to Nairobi, Parliament of Kenya has requested me, I've been given a request by parliamentarians that I should help in coming up with a symposium to train or to expose some of the members of Parliament on how to use social media, because I have been the trailblazer on matters social media, and I'll be glad to do that. So I hear you, the two concerns about civic education, I think I've been able to answer. ID. My apologies for having gone through that painful experience. But what you went through is what a regular Kenyan goes through. They want to join university, they don't have an ID. They want to join NYS, they don't have an ID. They want to get a job, they don't have an ID. It's very unfortunate. Yet we have so many people, visitors, foreigners from Burundi, from Uganda, who come in and bribe their way in and get IDs. You get a house girl. In Kenya we have house assistants and house girls. And the house girl comes to you, she's from Burundi, but she has a Wanjiro name. And she even has an M-Pesa and a Wanjiro name. So you wonder, where did she get his ID? And where did the Wanjiro name come from? And that's what I'm saying. If you're not careful, the Husseins of Al-Shabaab will come in and they will have an ID as Kenyanjui, as Kenodia, and things are going to be very, very tough. I am going to take up your case, if you allow me. I can take your case. I'm going to go to your house and follow it up for you. I will follow it up. I will make sure you get it. If they hear I have taken it up, trust me, you'll get it in. It's unfortunate. That's why I've said that when I go back to Parliament, that's my business. I have to make sure I make enough noise about IDs, because you can't be a Kenyan and you have an expiry date. You can't be a Kenyan and you have to buy into your citizenship. Yet you're born there, that's the only home you know. But you have to keep renewing your status in your own country. I mean, that's absurd. It's something that has never happened. And that's one of the reasons the Gen Zs, by the way, let me tell you, Musa, I hear you argue about regions. The young people, the Gen Zs and the millennials don't care which community you come from. They don't give a damn. All they want is somebody who can be able to deliver for them. Let me ask you, during the Gen Z's demonstrations and attacks, I am the only politician, I'm sure you saw me, the only mother, the only politician who went following up the Gen Z's injured in hospitals. I have paid their bills at Kenyatta National Hospital, at KU Referral Hospital. I didn't do that because you're a Tieno or a Ochieng or Karisa or whoever. I went into all those wards, hospital wards, visiting them, giving them flowers, praying with them, connecting them with their families. I did that as a Kenyan mother. I didn't do that as Gathoni from the mountain. I even went to the morgues. I was locked up. By the way, I tried to access the morgue, the Nairobi, the city mortuary morgue, and they disallowed me to get in because they didn't want to know me to get the evidence of how many bodies they had, of our children they had killed, you know. And I think the young people of Kenya know that Gathoni is fine from the mountain, but she's a nationalist, talks about things about other communities, deals with other communities, fights for other communities. Because at the end of the day, I mean, politics is a game of numbers. Politics is a game of competing ideas. Politics is a game of optics. Yeah. Have I answered you? The ID issue? Yeah. The land. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the land issue is a very sensitive issue because you know we have had commissions of inquiry inquiring on the legality of title deeds, and President Ruto's regime is a very interesting regime because it's a regime that is conning its own citizen, its own land. Government of Kenya is leading in grabbing public land. I'm sure you followed me during the affordable housing debate. I told the president on his face that affordable housing is a system that is enabling the government to grab public land. You can't take my public land, for example, from Kiambu County. The land belongs to us. You don't involve us in how you're going to take that land through our county assembly, because ideally you should come with a proposal, like a PPP proposal. That PPP proposal is supposed to be debated by the county government under the county assembly, and they pass it for you. And then you do a public participation and ask the owners of the land, can we use this land? That's what I do when I want to do a police station. For example, in my constituency, I have constructed numerous police stations. Even now, I have 4 coming up. I just don't walk in because I am elected leader and say I'm going to do a police station here. No. I first of all go to the registry, identify the land, go to the county, clear the lands and get a letter of no objection from the county through the MCA elected in that area. And then I call the public and ask them, are you okay if we did a whole, came up with a police station here, or a chief's camp here, or a classroom here, or a new school here? And they have to sign for me, consent. And I have to get a minimum of 1,000 signatures that can be verified anywhere in the court of law or in the IEBC. But President Ruto has come up with a con game where he just comes and says, we are going to do an aggregation center there. We are going to come up with affordable housing there. And he gives instructions. Mr. PS, can you make sure that the project starts? How? Okay, let's assume it's an aggregation center. If it is done, it's going to be handed over to the county. That sounds good. But when it is a house that I have to be sold to, you take my land, use my taxes, you deduct me money to construct a house, and then when that house is ready, you sell to me. That is the biggest scandal that is going to collapse the President Ruto's regime, and not only collapse, but we are going to follow President Ruto to his grave for the land scandals in Kenya. And look at the pattern. President Ruto doesn't grab land or push affordable housing projects in areas like Turkana, where there are no people, in areas of Kilifi, where there are no people. He only wants land which is prime. He wants land in Nairobi, in Nakuru, in Kiambu, in Embu, in Nyeri, in Busia, in Kakamega, where the land is very prime. And he's aggressively pushing for affordable houses, which to me are total scam. Listen to me, and I want to be on record. President Ruto is the chief. What have I said? He is the chief mastermind of the grand corruption around affordable housing. Yes. For every kilo of cement used to construct those houses, he has interest together with his cronies. For every nail, for every steel, for every metal, for every stone, for every labor, is being spent to construct those houses. He has interest in the supplies, in the business of the supply of those items. So he's making income 3 ways. 1, when he identifies you as a developer, he agrees with you. You will do this many houses, but a few belong to me and my family and my friends. And then he tells you, I'll give you this title. Remember, it's public land title. You can go to the bank and borrow money against it to come and develop the houses. In other words, he's the conduit of land grabbing from the community to the investor. He is the conduit. You think he's doing that for free? And then when the houses are constructed, he's telling you, sell the houses. And when you sell the houses at this price, I want a cut out of it. And that is in public domain. We know him. All of a sudden, he's a friend to some Indians who we know are very heavy in the business of steel, the business of roofing material, the business of nails and cement. Where do you think that friendship has come from? In fact, there's one who is on record who said President Ruto should be elected for life. You saw him talk. A serious investor went on camera saying President Ruto should be elected, should be president for life. And he's saying that on a roadside announcement because of the deals they're making together. Yeah. So affordable housing is a scam, is a scandal. It is something that President Ruto will be put into jail for stealing our land and transferring our land to foreigners without our consent. Please clap for me if I make a lot of sense. Last, about land. We had a commission of inquiry on land injustices. We call it historical land injustices in Kenya. The report is out and has been out, but President Ruto has ignored the report. And now what President Ruto is doing, he's running around dishing title deeds. And all of a sudden we hear title deeds papers have disappeared from Ministry of Land. Have you heard those stories? How can a government in place, a government duly elected, lose title deeds in their own offices? Isn't that an idea of telling you that somebody is in trade? Somebody is trading with our title deeds? And then all of a sudden he rises up, like you saw in Garissa. He decides to go to Garissa and is giving out title deeds. Look at social media today. He doesn't even know how many title deeds he gave out in Garissa. Because his minister is saying this number, he's saying this number, PS is saying this number, the media is reporting this number, so it means the whole thing is scam. So the president is a con man. He is a serial liar. And the Ruto we knew of ICC, the alumni of ICC, the alumni that we took to Hague, even after crying and telling us he repented before God, the true narcissist Ruto, the loot all man who is known to loot all, is now in his real colors, looting all. Kasongo yeye. Thank you very much. I'm taking the last round of questions. Is it long?
Arizona, Hawaii. Yeah, Mr. Governor. Yeah, but one thing, let me talk to them, they're my people. I know there are many people online from Arizona. Arizona people, please, when you see these people coming here, is where you can hear all your problems. I've lived in New Jersey. I could go even to the opposition that I didn't want. I go so I can say what I want to them. And when I talk it there, it was going to Parliament and it happened. I will give them an example. Mudavadi came to New Jersey, I told him he should be ashamed of old mothers going to the matatus, lining up with their stomach there, and even old grandma carrying the bags. We want that changed. If you want money from America, you want that changed. And that is how Michoke did it. Now when you go to Kenya, you line up, you get enough people to go to the matatu, you go home. I asked him another question. When the rain comes, money grow like this, kumawiki? He said no. Then I asked him, why would it in the evening, the fare goes up, when in the daytime, when I can see myself, the fare is down. It was changed and it was put, if you are asked more than this amount, you call this number. That's how it came. So when you hear Wamuchomba is here, this girl is here, Arizona people used to defend all this work. You should come and tell her what you are facing as investors in Kenya. We buy land, we lose the money. We build the houses, we lose the money. Meaning that there is no government to go and complain. Since the right person, you are supposed to come and tell. So you can go and say, our diaspora people who are contributors like coffee people or livestock for Ruto, they need also to be heard when they come and do investment. Now I'm going to ask my question. I love you so much.
Thank you.
I think you're going to be paying my TV, internet, because every time it's on when you're online, so I can hear what you say.
Thank you.
I follow you, my mom follows you. I like the way you talk.
Thank you.
And if you're going to be the president of Kenya, my question is
when I become, not
when
if.
you become the president of Kenya. I'm saying I think in Gema we are spoilers of the game. What about if you get 3 people from Gema who want to be the president? Are you going to stick it there so we can have our vote divided by 3, or what are we going to do? Just think about it as you go. Don't answer them, because I know you have already calculated, you know your number.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, what I'll say, what I'll tell you, we don't want our files to get lost, because once it was written, it is still there. My question I'm asking, we are complaining about Ruto did. Does Kenyan government don't have a manual book where they check? Because by now, Ruto will be in jail. And I'm telling you, if you're looking for that post, if you continue doing that, we diaspora people, we ain't gonna jail you as a president. We are going to tell you that. Keep our books, record does not lie, and once it's written, it's written. We don't want to hear about Kasongo did what, because it should be jail. And that is what you're supposed to do, to make sure our government jail that man because of wasting our funds.
Thank you.
Susan Marita, the governor of Arizona.
Thank you, Governor.
Of the Kenya, Arizona.
Thank you, Governor of Kenya, Arizona. Allow me to answer that question, and we should be winding up because time is not. Hold on a minute. I've just been reminded that I did not answer about foreigners and land in Kenya. If there is anything that has made me make up my mind that I'm going to offer myself as a presidential candidate and I'm going to fight it out to become a president, is the historical injustices melted on Kenyan people who are indigenous owners of land. I represent those indigenous in Gathoni. The estate you hear us talk about, the Tattoo City, that land belongs to our grandparents. But unfortunately, for my mother or my grandpa to walk across Tattoo City, she has to produce a pass. There are barriers on public roads. If you come today and you want to visit Tattoo City, you just have to be clear like you're going to a certain foreign territory. That is happening in every county when we talk about what I call the fallacious special economic zones. when the president decides that this place is going to be special economic zone and comes up with special tariffs and only target at half a billion shillings investment. How many Kenyans can afford half a billion shillings to invest? So that only leaves the cream of the cream, which is foreigners. So he removes the land from you, local people, because you just can't afford the threshold. And that is why I was fighting the finance bill of 2023 so viciously. Because I realized this guy wants to give out all our land to foreigners. Because when it comes to those special economic zones and puts that kind of a mark that you have to have this much dollars for you to invest in a special economic zone, that technically kicks us out. So every other nice gated community, every other nice industrious zone, special economic zones is in the hands of foreigners. And that is going to continuously happen if somebody like Gathoni doesn't stand up and fight it out politically like I am doing, man. So I have, go and Google, you can see my fight with Tatu City. They came in a land where we had already constructed 3 public schools and have nothing against Tatu City. But you can't come in, you're given 5,000 acres for special economic zone, and then you come and colonize 25,000 acres and pretend to be investing in the whole 25,000 acres, yet you only qualify for 5,000. So you conquer the school that was there, take away the school, pushes it out, and I am a member of parliament, elected by the locals. So I've been fighting Tatu City. I've been fighting them because they came in and took 3 public primary schools from the areas where they found and lied to the world that they've been given the land as special economic zone, and it's a lie. But why are they lying? Because they're working with somebody in the Ministry of Land. Why are they lying? Because they have corrupted people in the county to get fake documents. So I have fought it out. I am the chair of the committee that oversees the Constitution of Kenya in Parliament. And I oversight National Land Commission, NLC. And therefore I used my position to get back my land. And I have gotten back my land. Please clap for me. And it is not my land. It is a land that belongs to the people of my constituency. What if all members of parliament are doing that? We will not have those problems. Now look at Mumia's sugar. You saw the president going there saying, oh, I brought you 150 million bonuses, which was a true, clear lie. That money came from somebody who wanted to take over the factory. And the Indian was actually giving an advance to the PPP arrangement. But the locals are now being told that we are signing off this factory to this investor. They're being told, oh, come, we have bonuses for you. I'm sure you saw me, for those who follow me. I went head on the president and told him, hey man, you need to come out very clear and tell us how many kilos of sugar have you sold? How did you calculate that bonus? I mean, this company was in the trash. It was under receivership. How did you clear the loan? Who cleared you and made a profit that now you are sharing with the farmers? You see, that's what we're talking about, public participation, civic education. Farmers don't know. They don't even know this factory was under receivership anyway. So somebody comes and tells them, now I'm going to give you bonus, and they are excited. But he's playing with your mind. And by the way, if you ever become, when I become president, I'm going to jail President Ruto for that. Because he's taking over factories that were labor-driven, factories that we labored to put up, to hand over now to the foreigners for the gains of his pocket. Do you hear me? Thank you very much. Gen Z, last question.
Hello, my name is Agnes Momboro. First of all, I want to thank you for all of your work, Honorable Gathoni. I am the founder of a group called Wakenya United, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Kenyans that we are trying to unite. Our goal is to bring Kenyans together because we believe together we are just much stronger. The divisions that happen in Kenya also affect everybody that is abroad. So my question is to you, since I stand here as a Gen Z based on my youth, right? I stand here as a woman, and I also stand here as a very proud Kenyan who takes Kenya as if it's my responsibility as well. What can we do on a ground level? Because all we are trying to do is unite the people. Because we know that if we are united on our end, we can help, even if we are far away. So what can we do on our end, on a ground level? The people who are here with papers, the people who are here without papers, the people who are financially in a place to help, the people who are not financial, what can we do on a ground level to be able to support you? Because you seem like you're the woman for the job. But we need to see actions being done, but you cannot do it alone. So what I want to do as the founder of Wakenya United is to be able to support you, but we need to know what we can do on a ground level, starting today. Not next week, not a month from now, not when you are going to run. What can we do to support and help Kenya as a whole, and you if you're going to be elected?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Wairimo. I think that's a very interesting, coming from, a young Kenyan, a young person who has Kenya at heart. Wairimo.
Say it.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Wairimo, because you have access to education, I believe and assume, you should help us to ensure that a youth like you in Kenya access the same education, quality education. Wairimo, gone are the days when you used to be told you're the leaders of tomorrow. I think this is fallacious for us to keep telling young people that you're the leaders of tomorrow. I am now telling the young people, you are the leaders of today. Trust you me, I am clocking 50 this year, at the end of this year. I am an elected member of parliament serving my second term, having served in public arena for over 24 years in the media. But in my office, every other person called chairman is below 35. Yeah, I'm leading by example. I am performing very well in the national platform because I am supported by the young people. I am soon going to launch my political party, and my chairman of the political party is going to be 32 years old. I have a school feeding program in Githunguri constituency. I am feeding over, by the grace of God, I am feeding over 22,000 learners every day. My children eat a fresh, hot meal prepared in the constituency, delivered by clean efficiency system every day. And the cooking, the packing, the loading, the procurement, everything in that program is managed by young people not more than 32 years old. Hear me. The young people can do it. We just have to change the paradigm. We move the paradigm from the wisdom-oriented, age, wisdom, packed, to the young, energetic, vibrant, innovative young people of Kenya. Hear me. In that feeding program, every school, I have a clerk who manages the payment system for the food system because the parent pay only 20 shillings. That is an eighth of $1 for them to eat food every day. The clerk who manages the financial platform that manages the food, the 20 shillings per child, is a young person below 30 years. You clock 30, you exit. Another Gen Z comes in. And they are graduates from the universities and higher institutions of learning. My program has been given the best practice program of the year. The best practice program of the year nationally was my Githunguri school feeding program. Please clap for me. Clap for the young people of Kenya who have made that program succeed. Whether I am elected again or not as a member of parliament, I have put systems in place that program is sustainable without me. All I do now, after I did the establishment, I did a kitchen as big as this hall. My kitchen is as big as this hall. It cooks centrally, and then the loaders come, they load in the trucks and distribute the food. By 11:30, every school has their meal ready. When I did that, I exited. I let the young people run the program, and that's what they're doing. Now hear me. My government is going to be made up of those young people because I believe in them 100%. It's time for us to have a minister who is 30. It's time for us to have a PS who is 28. It's time for us to have ICT managers and director generals who are 22. I mean, what is this all about that you have to retire and get recycled? I'm sorry for the retirees in the room, but our labor market is so saturated that we can't afford to be recycling people who have already worked. American system and the Europe system, we understand when you retirees get opportunities because there's a shortage of workers. In Nairobi, we have excess. We have idle young people, learned with degrees, PhD holders. They are riding motorbikes. It's an insult to the education system of any country when graduates ride motorbikes for a pay of less than $1. And jobs are given to people who have accumulated a lot of wealth. So my government is going to be made up of young people. I have already tested it. I know it's working. I have been awarded for it, not by myself, but by other third parties, and it's working. My chairman of NCDF, the National Government Constituency Development Fund, is less than 35. And he's the one who's managed doing that wonderful kitchen. Every other person in my office is young. I'm going to launch the first political party that is going to be patronized by a Gen Z. I'm going to be a party leader, but my chairman is going to be a Gen Z. That's what I'm talking about. Do you believe me? Yes. Do you think it's doable? It's doable. Now, this issue of Kenyans voters, please, Kenyan voters, please hear me, even those that are hearing me online. We must stop this culture and we must adopt the new paradigm of not recycling leaders. You are chased out of a ministry because you stole money, you are reappointed as Attorney General, you steal money, and then now you're qualified by a political party to become a governor to steal money, and then you come and tell us you are going to be the President of the Republic of Kenya with all that tainted past. Let us do an analysis right now. The people who call themselves the patriots of Kenyan politics, the patrons of political parties in Kenya, who is corruption free? Show me one. Give me one. Give me one patron of a political party in Kenya who does not have a corruption scandal. And those are the people you people tell us, oh Gathoni, step out because Kalonzo is there. Step out because Wetangula is there. Step out because Anyang' Nyong'o is there. Step out because Uhuru Kenyatta is there. Come on, guys. That is why we are going to have perpetual problems. Perennial noise, complaints and wailings and anger, because we are recycling problems. You are recycling our problems. When I was learning biology and physics, I was told about things like distillation. That if you fetch water and you realize the water is dirty, and the dirt in the water is sort of a dust, you can let the water settle. Then the uchafu would go down. Can't we just do this in politics? Can we do away with the polluted water? Can we serve a fresh meal in Kenya politically. Here it is, fresh meal. Here it is, politically. Here it is. Google me. I have never been involved in any scandal. Find me even in my social life. You will never find me in scandals and funny environment. You will never find me. I have a record in Kenya as the only radio broadcaster who went up the ranks from reporting, researching, director, presentation, ownership. I have never been bribed by anybody to run a story or play a song or biased reporting. That's not Gathoni. And you guys, I'm sure you know that. It's very hard for a Kenyan politician to survive without scandals. It's very hard. In fact, corruption is normally like a tick box. What matters is the volume of how much you stole, and how much catwalking you did after stealing, and how much crying you did when you went to church to confess. Gathoni is a clean leader, proven. I tell people whenever I go to talk to people, please don't look at me and see my skirt. Please don't look at me and see me as a woman, because I am not selling my female candidacy. I'm selling myself as a presidential candidate who has it takes. I have what it takes to govern and bring back the integrity of the country, bring back the productivity of the young people, tap the talents of the young people, and move the country forward. Will you vote for me? Yes. Will you pitch for me? Yes. Will you market me? Yes. Will you support me? Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. Okay, I hear you. Thank you very much. I think diaspora voters are voters that are very easy to convince. One, because you are an elite community. So it's very easy to campaign to you because I don't even have to come to Arizona anymore. I mean, we speak with you every morning on social media, isn't it? It's not like the traditional way that we had to come and do fill-ups of this hall. I mean, even if I don't have much people in the hall, there are so many people online following, thousands and thousands. And the beauty is now I can do my campaign online and you can even engage me. And I think that's the way. I saw how President Trump did it. I saw how President Trump just ignored the mainstream media and just did his thing on social media. And by the way, I just needed to pronounce myself on the same. I am very proud that you Americans decided to bring God back to where he belongs through President Trump. I am so proud that Americans have acknowledged God in the government systems. And we need to bring back God in Kenya, because our God somehow exited when President Ruto came in. I'm very, very proud of you. Now, I think I'm going to take the cue from President Trump. You know, myself and Trump, we are somehow the same because we speak the truth carelessly, even when it's sensitive. We just say kaende kaende, kaende kaende. I'm one of those who speak like him, and I'm happy that people who speak like that have nothing left, have nothing hidden left, isn't it? Very well. So for the diaspora guys, I look forward to a regime, a Kenyan regime, that will not just give you a committee of diaspora affairs in parliament, but give you a fully pledged ministry of diaspora. Please note, somebody has conned you guys that having a committee of diaspora affairs in parliament deals with your issues under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs Ministry is very diplomatic. It's all about diplomats. It's all about diplomatic relations and foreign policies. But diaspora requires more of micromanagement, the affairs of the people living outside the country. Something that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs doesn't
bother, because they leave that to the embassies and consulates. Is that true? And some of them, because they are political appointees and they come from the billionaire families, you walk in there and tell them, oh, you know, I came here, I was jobless, I have no job. He doesn't even understand you because he's never been jobless. Because he comes from that family and his job is an appointment of the president. You understand? For example, sorry to quote somebody, but assume today the retired president Uhuru's son is appointed the ambassador in the United States of America. I'm just giving you an example. And then you walk in there and tell him, hi, I've come because I want you to help me because I have a problem with my job. Do you think he can understand? That is exactly what has been happening. I'm not disqualifying him and I have nothing against him. I'm just using that as an example. So I think you qualify to have a ministry of diaspora, and you qualify to have all what other ministry have. Please, as I close, listen to me. You are #1 in revenue generation in Kenya. So if agriculture has a ministry and it's not bringing as much revenue as you, if tourism has a ministry and not generating as much as diaspora, if Ministry of Water is there but does not generate as much as diaspora, what then limits you from getting a ministry? Think about it. Gathoni is gonna deliver. Thank you very much.
I really want to thank you all for coming. Thank you. My name is Florence Wairimo Duo, and in Kenya I was Marewaka Faiko. And yeah. Okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you very much. As you all know, we are already past our time. We are not supposed to be here after 5. They let us have an extra hour. So what I would like us to do is call upon each one of you to answer to the ladies that are leading this forum. The ladies that are leading this forum are led by women in this area. We too. They're led by Mary Washeke. Their secretary is the secretary of Arsenal. Her name is Judy Nganga. Can you stand up? She is going to be getting the information from all the Kenyans through her, and she'll bring it to the main executive. And then do that. So what we are saying, because we don't have a lot of time, let us liaise with this lady and the committee that they are going to put together, and we'll talk about it. Please, because of time. Can you all do that? Kenya is greater than me. Kenya is greater than Washeke or anybody else here. Let us all join hands and do what we need to do to redeem our country. Otherwise, mukirudi nyumbani hakutakuwa bora. Itakuwa imeenda wa Somali. God bless you so much, and now we can receive our vote of thanks.
Okay, so as I was saying, I'm very sorry. As I was saying, my name is Florence Wairimo Duo Mwaiwaka Faiko, and I am so happy that I had the opportunity of meeting your Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. She is a beautiful soul inside out. As a young girl, I used to just wait for her voice, like on the radio. In fact, I was telling her that I didn't hear that voice, but I think I did today. I did. And I don't know why this is making loud. Yeah, so as I'm saying, is that today we had her voice. She's an iron lady. She is a girl that is ready to rock and roll. Won't you have her? We are not pure. We are not like clean. We are not perfect people. But there's a God that makes people perfect. Won't you join us to pray for this lady? Won't you join us to pray for our country? Won't you join us to pray for the changes that are going to be coming soon? I'm the chair lady of the Queen Arizona. I have Queens in Arizona. I have my friend Catherine, who mentored me into the Arizona Queens. Catherine. And I believe in the power of women. I know men, you also are powerful. And you have a place in Gathoni's life too, because I think you're going to make a change. So I'm calling out to our Kenyan Arizona community. Please let's rally behind Gathoni. Let's run and help her make a change. I think she has a message, and I know God is going to use this woman. God is going to use her to bring Kenya to where He wants it to be. There will be people opposing her, but they will not succeed, because somehow God is going to create a way for her to march at a tembea, because God has a way that is going to use her. So thank you for coming. I may not have the words to say, but I know somebody somewhere has a message. Please pass on. Let's support Gathoni. Let's bring a table or somewhere we can actually air these questions. Judy is going to help us, like send a message to her, you know, as her secretary. Judy, right there, if you want to know Judy's number, ask me, Washeke. We are going to make sure that she gets the message. If there's somebody else that wanted to communicate something, please reach out to Judy. And Judy's mom is right here. Some of you know Elizabeth. That's Elizabeth, Pastor Elizabeth Nganga. That's the mother. If you know her, she'll get to Judy. So we have different ways of getting access to her. All right? Elder Kamau, Washeke, Waimoduo, Judy, Elizabeth Nanga, Catherine Mogo. We are powerful people. Sue, Governor, she's also there. So let's join hands and support her. Thank you so much for coming. I also want to thank Elder Kamau for helping us get the lady in here, right? I don't think there's much we can do. We are going to have a meeting in Wito, and Washeke is going to announce. And if we can, all ladies, follow the lead and try and get as many women so we can get this message across. Go tell your wife, go tell your daughter, go tell your son's wife or whoever, girl, we need them on Wito. Just join live. We're going to have a lot of talk there, right? And thank you so much. And thank you to our American family. Thank you. Thank you for bringing Gathoni here. Thank you.
Allow me to just give a number. I'm requested that you can also, I am that leader that appreciates direct conversations with my voters, because that's the only way I'll understand my constituency. And now you have qualified to be my constituency. I have a number that I want to give you, a Kenyan number. You can WhatsApp that number. I'll always get to see your messages. Please don't call it. It doesn't function as a call number. It's just a WhatsApp number. And it has an M-Pesa. If you want to support me in my cause, you can always throw a few coins there. Via M-Pesa, it will remove my name. It has my name on it. So you will be sure that you're dealing with me. I may not be able to answer that number on call, so just do WhatsApp. Or maybe if you're on Signal, you can also signal me on that number. It's 0701 0701. It's a Kenyan number, so you plus 254. 254 701 819 929. Yes. Plus 254 701 819 929. Please support that child who needs a meal once in a while with that 20 shillings. It will make a difference. Thank you. God bless you.
Able to pate maombi kidogo. Let's receive a word of prayer so that God can protect us as we go out, and also bless the words that have been uttered here. The commitment that Mrs. Wamuchomba has made, and the commitment that we have also expressed. As we go home, let us pray for Kenya as we pray for her. Let us pray for that country. I'll ask Pastor Ruben to say a quick prayer, and then we can all march out with the presence of God.
Heavenly Father, we thank you. Again and again we thank you, Lord. We thank you for this great day. We thank you for the plans that you have for each and every one of us, O Lord. We know that you have put a dream in each and every person, young, middle-aged or old, men and women, my Father, all over the world. Father, you do help us to discover our purpose. And when we discover our purpose, O Lord, and we come unto you with all plans that we do in our lives and submit them to you, God, you always make them established. It is a great day, and it is a great honor to have a presidential candidate for our country, Kenya, traveling all the way, leaving all the other places and choosing this Arizona. We know and we believe, as the motto of the founding fathers of this state of Arizona clearly states, that God enriches. She came and stepped on the soil that the founders believed in you, O Lord, and they believe that you enrich those who depend on you, O Lord. We have watched her over and over, and we have seen her character, O Lord. She is a special gem in our country, O Lord. Father, or we can say that our country for now, it is wounded, and it needs healing, O Lord. It is only you who can do that, O Lord. Please, in every one of us, Lord, when we cry unto you, you have promised us that you will hear us from heaven, O Father. And we shall call you with genuine hearts, O Lord, in spirit and in truth. For sure, Lord, our country, Kenya, needs you now more than ever before. We need leaders who fear you, O Lord, who listen to your voice, and who look at your children like they are living beings, O my Father, not killing even the very innocent young people, the generation of tomorrow. My Father, we thank you. We thank you for Gathoni Wamuchomba. We shall remember her from this day. And Father, do not get tired with us when we present her name before you. May you bless her, O Lord. May you give her wisdom so that she will be able to govern our country, Kenya, once we give her the votes and put her to that seat, O my Father. I pray for every soul that is represented here. I pray for every family, O Lord, that whoever is here is the point of contact, my Father. May you bless us, O Lord. May you bless us, O Lord. You know what we go through in this country. We know even what our children and our loved ones go through back at home. Father, may you always remember us, because we do not have anyone else to rely on except you. It is a special day, and we thank you, and we honor and glorify your holy name for this good day, for our American friends, and for the great president of this country, America, that he will support us and support this idea all through until fruition. When this happens, we shall meet on this altar that we have created today, O Lord, and we shall give thanks and glory and joy. And it is in the name of God the Father, and the Son, In the Holy Spirit we pray and we believe. Amen.